Test, 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 test. Zach, you got nothing?
All right, good evening. I'm going to call the regular board meeting to order. This meeting is recorded and live streamed. For the last hour, the board was in closed session and no action was taken. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask Superintendent to please, Greg Blake, to please present the reports and awards.
So we do have some fabulous people getting recognized here tonight. Andrew Mall, there you are. Third row back, Andrew Mall.
Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of the Alted family, I would like to express your gratitude. Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of the Alted family, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for the continued support of our resilient students and amazing staff. I'm privileged to recognize an educator who has made significant contributions to the Alted campus, specifically Fairview High School, in just a 5-year period. Kevin McKay joined the Alted family as a student teacher and quickly realized that this is his home. From our initial meetings, I realized that he became a teacher to inspire students to be the best versions of themselves now and in their futures. I can recall several heartfelt conversations, collaborating on how to best meet his students where they are, and then instill hope that they can do whatever they choose to, so long as they never give up. Hired as a social science teacher, I've asked him to take on other teaching positions due to his passion to make a difference. He served as a leadership teacher for 3 years, working with students who have recognized their ability to lead by example and represent the Falcon Way through campus culture enrichment activities and community outreach. Additionally, he previously served as a work experience coordinator, bringing community partnerships to campus to enhance student opportunities and join the workforce prior to graduating high school. This year, Kevin has played a critical role in establishing Fairview's first dual enrollment Auto 1 course with Butte College. Students were transported to the auto lab on Monday mornings and worked closely with Mr. McKay in completing their coursework daily. This week, students are completing their finals, excuse me, and with his unwavering support and encouragement, we will be able to continue the program moving into next school year and beyond with the addition of the 102 course as well. Mr. McKay has a wealth of life experiences that translate to creativity in the classroom. He has a knack in motivating the unmotivated with exciting activities and projects. To say that I lean heavily on Kevin is an understatement, but what goes without saying is how he also leads from the heart. He brings an energy and commitment to our program that enhances the lives of every student that walks into his classroom. I've been witness to meaningful and also difficult conversations with students where Kevin provides guidance when they seem to be struggling to find their way and make positive decisions that will impact the rest of their lives. One student in particular shared, "I've never had a father or someone who has talked to me and encouraged me the way you have. Thank you." It is perhaps one of the most significant moments I've been a part of in my entire career and exemplifies Mr. McKay's determination to make a difference in all that he does. Please join me in thanking Kevin McKay for his service and congratulating him on his recognition today.
Were you trying to get out of it by staying in the back? Good to see you. Thank you. Hold that for, we're gonna take a picture. Okay. Right here. Oh, there you go. Pretend you like it. Then hold on, I gotta get on my tippy toes. Congratulations.
All right. Number 2, again, thank you for all of your support and again, for being able to be up here and acknowledge some wonderful people. It is an absolute honor to present the boss of Alted, Stephanie Bolduck, with the Classified Superintendent Award. I heard her. As we all know, yes, that's appropriate. As we all know very well, the office manager on any campus is in fact in charge of just about everything that takes place daily on a daily basis. Excuse me. There isn't much that doesn't pass through their office, and this can certainly create chaos during the most inconvenient of times. Stephanie's office is a safe place for all, but most importantly, for students who see her as a motherly figure. Her kind-hearted demeanor is quite often the first stop for students when arriving on campus to receive a welcoming smile, a comforting check-in, or just a quiet space to decompress early in the morning and get ready for the school day. Stephanie started her CUSD career as cafeteria assistant in 2013, then moved into the cafeteria satellite manager and into the attendance office at the elementary level in 2018. And then in October of 2019, the Alted family would be graced with her presence as a senior office assistant. That particular year was extremely difficult as we experienced high staffing turnover in our various office positions, and throughout all of it, one moment stood out the most. During her interview for the senior office assistant, she was asked she was asked why she is the most qualified for the job. Because I'm amazing. The panel chuckled for several minutes and we still laugh about it often, but perhaps no words have ever rang so true. She is absolutely amazing. The following 2 years would prove to be just as difficult with our classified office positions, and Stephanie stepped up in a major way, the way she always does. When the longtime office manager Carol Burns retired in January of 2022, Stephanie not only managed her responsibilities as a senior office assistant for attendance, but even after being hired as a new office manager, she still supported the attendance position in every way possible. The attendance position was actually vacant for several weeks after that at the most critical time of the school year. For folks who have never experienced working on a campus with 4 different schools, there is never a dull moment. Navigating the complexities associated with our campus, Stephanie does so with professionalism and outright determination to ensure families, students, and staff receive the level of care they deserve and never hesitates to go above and beyond for anyone. Stephanie makes every important decision with her heart. Some students are often with us for just a few days after having a difficult week, but she speaks to them as if she has been part of their lives for years. Her compassion for others, especially during their most vulnerable and challenging moments, is truly humbling and inspires me to bring that same level of care to every interaction I have each day. It never ceases to amaze me when she tells me her experiences with students and families in her previous roles in Chico Unified, and those experiences have provided her the opportunity to be the best office manager in the business. Her work ethic serves her well, and I'm so very grateful to call her my boss. The Alted family loves you, Stephanie, and everybody please join me in saying thank you and congratulations to Stephanie Bolduc.
Say I'm amazing.
That's obvious. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to introduce CSEA Chico Chapter President Kelly Searle to the podium to announce staff recognition for May.
Sorry, I'm short. Well, good evening, everyone. Hello, CSEA School Board and District employees. I'm Kelly Searle, CSEA Chico 110 Chapter President. This week was Classified School Employees Week, and it was so awesome to feel the support from district leadership and school board members with our job shouting program. The feedback from classified employees has been so inspiring and how much they love the interactions they had with leadership companions. We hope to see you all tomorrow night at 4:30 at Nash's. This month's member of the month is Jay Applet. What makes this recognition so special tonight is Jay is retiring next month after 25 years as a campus supervisor for Chico Unified. Jay was nominated by Nathan Hudson, who said Jay is amazing. He does anything that anybody could ever ask for and does it with a smile. He is generous, helpful, easy to talk to, and also very fun. He does this all while working 2 full-time jobs and coaches football. I'm not sure if he sleeps, but his energy is unmatched. He is the epitome of what a good employee is. Chico High admin said that they are happy to celebrate a pillar of the Chico High community. For the past 2 decades, Jay has shaped the lives of countless students through his role as a campus supervisor and a coach at Chico High. To say he's going to be missed is an understatement. Many know Jay through his role on the football field. Coach Jay has been a fixture of Chico High football, who served as a longtime assistant coach and more recently as the team's head coach. Jay's mission was never just about the scoreboard. His true talent lies in building the foundation. He took young freshmen and sophomores and built them up so they could have success at the next level. Jay is a master relationship builder, not just with the athletes, but with their parents too. He is as reliable and accountable as a coach can possibly be. He has been the steady, positive role model our young men needed, teaching them character, discipline, and respect by simply practicing what he preached. But Jay's impact didn't stop when the practice whistle blew. For much of the last decade, he brought that same exact relationship-first spirit to his role as campus supervisor. Whether he's cruising around on the golf cart, running you over, or holding down the fort in the cafeteria, Jay regularly has a crowd of kids just hanging out around him. Students gravitated towards him because he creates an environment that is welcoming, safe, and positive. As a staff member, Jay is the ultimate teammate who is a willing employee who tackles absolutely any task asked of him, no questions asked. And let's be honest, his calm demeanor combined with his physical presence has made him an invaluable asset to our staff. He can diffuse a situation with just a look and a reassuring word. Jay, you have spent over 20 years bringing a positive attitude to Chico schools. You have made Chico High truly a better place for students and staff alike. As you step into the next chapter and ride off into the retirement, hopefully on a golf cart that goes a little bit faster, know that your legacy here is secure. You've changed lives, you've built a community, and you will always be a Panther. Jay said after 25 years with Chico Unified, the time has come for me to say goodbye as I head into retirement. My journey began back in 1990 at Chico Junior while I was still attending Chico State, and fate eventually brought me back to Marsh in 2001. Over the years, I've had the opportunity of working at Fairview and closing my career here at Chico High. To my coworkers and administration, thank you for being such an incredible support system. To the students I've met, helped, and coached, you are the reason I come to work every day. Seeing you all develop into such impressive young men and ladies gives me so much hope for the future. Thank you for all the memories I will miss this community. Jay, this is from me. You are one of the most kindest, calmest people I've ever met. You always step in to help whenever anyone needs it and never says no. When I started at Chico High, I learned quickly that you were someone who could always be counted on. CSEA Chico 110 is so honored to recognize you tonight. Chico High will have a tough task to find someone to fill your shoes. Thank you for all you have done, and we wish you the best as you move on to the next chapter in your life. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, you're gonna stand there. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. At this time, I'd like to introduce item number 6, items from the floor. Items from the floor are for speakers who wish to address the board regarding a topic that's not on the agenda tonight. At this time, we'll take public comment from speakers who wish to address the board for topics not on the agenda. Just as a reminder, speakers will have 3 minutes to address the board. A buzzer will sound with 30 seconds of speaking time remaining. We as a board are able to listen to public comment, but we are not able to respond to any speaker under items from the floor. We already have a small little list here, so we'll start with these. And if there is any time remaining, then we will go to anyone who would like to additionally speak. All right, so we will be starting this evening with Mandy Browning.
Hoping you'd call Teresa.
Oh, you can swap it.
Can we?
It's
'Cause
up
hers
to
is
you.
Much more comprehensive.
All right, Teresa.
Good evening. My name's Teresa Bond. I'm a parent at Hooker Oak Elementary School, and tonight I want to speak in support of the Access program at Hooker Oak Elementary School and the students it serves. While I do not have a student in the Access program myself, I am here as a Hooker Oak parent because I'm concerned about the physical environment our district is providing some of our most valuable students. To be clear, I want the Access program to remain at Hooker Oak. We just need to change the space to better support the students at Hooker Oak. For those unfamiliar, the Access program specializes in students with significant social, emotional, and behavioral needs. This program helps students develop communication skills, coping strategies, and healthy peer relationships in a highly supported and hopefully therapeutic environment. But right now, the physical space of that program is undermining all of those goals. The Access program is located in a portable next to the TK and kindergarten playground. The only entrance/exit opens in front of the big kids playground. And when students from that program are dysregulated or need support and privacy, those moments unfold in front of all of their peers. Children should not have to have their hardest moments displayed on a playground while they are trying to build confidence, friendships, and trust at school. My concern is that the district has not yet provided the space that matches the level of care these students need and deserve. I have already spoken with Principal Emily, Access teacher Eric Magana, district staff, Jen Scalia, and other about the practical solutions that could be implemented this summer without major construction. These solutions could include separate but attached space where students can safely regulate and continue their school day when the classroom environment becomes overwhelming, or a more private covered space behind their current classroom so students can reset with support from the staff, or an additional exit that allows students to access privacy and space away from the main playground. Tonight, I'm asking the board to ensure that this process moves forward before the next school year begins and works with the educators who work directly with these students to include them in these decisions. These are realistic improvements that can be made over the summer to provide these students with greater privacy, dignity, safety, and access to appropriate behavioral support while remaining at Hooker Oak. Creating a more appropriate environment is paramount for these students, and it is on the district to make sure that happens this summer. Sadly, when I practiced this speech in front of my 9-year-old, he stood up and clapped. That part was great. But he also said, you know, if the district does this, those kids will be less sad and I'll be less scared. Let's make the kids of Hooker Oak less sad and less scared. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. You guys swapped spots. Okay. So our next speaker is, I feel like I'm not going to say this correctly, Nasir? Here? Nasser? Abba? I'm not going to even. You both have a spot if you'd like one as well. You both had Teresa. Okay, you're good. Okay. All right. Okay. I understand. All right. So Nasir is not here. Okay. We'll be moving on. Oh goodness, this isn't much easier. Devindir. Devindir. Gotcha. Okay. I see where you're going. All right. So I think that is everything from items from the floor. If there is anyone, okay, come on up. 3 minutes.
Hi there. Hi, my name's Addison Winslow. I represent District 4 in the Chico City Council, and that's a lot of the avenues. I live right by Citrus Elementary, and I pass every day by Chico High and Chico Junior, and I'm very well aware of the importance of schools as components of the neighborhood in addition to their role as schools. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because when I grew up, I went to Chico Country Day School, and this is a charter school, and so it wasn't the nearest school to my home. And there were other schools that were like I lived in some apartments next to Neil Dow, and the evening times or just after hours or on weekends, I would go to Neil Dow and I would play in the field and play in the playgrounds. We'd use the basketball courts, and I would meet other kids there. And I can't think of a school that I ever went to that I didn't return to after hours. And it hasn't. I've noticed that every single school that I went to now is locked off after hours. And even just recently, I lived on Hobart Street when I was elected to city council, and I didn't really have much of a yard. And the last place I could see the sunset and the crows and the bluebirds and the starlings was at Chico High. And it's since I've been elected that there's been a fence that has cut that off access to that. And I think that while I understand absolutely and support the reasons why this program of controlling access to schools has taken place, I can't help but think that we've missed some of the value and things have been lost that we haven't properly accounted for. And I think about the fact that kids grew up in similar situations to me and live in apartments and they aren't able to access those spaces and don't live near a park. And that's sad to me. And I don't know exactly what the best answer is. I know that there's been some attempts to control access, and maybe some schools have different arrangements I'm not aware of. And I don't want to just come here and tell you that you should figure this out. And I would like you to consider it, but I would say that I can't speak on behalf of the whole city of Chico, but I can speak on behalf of myself. And I think the principles of the people that elected me. And what's good for schools is good for the city of Chico. And any way that we can help support a program that grants shared access to these spaces, I think would be worthwhile. We maintain a police department that operates 24/7. We train and we equip them to handle situations, and nobody, no staff member, teacher, let alone a student, should ever have to confront a dangerous, potentially dangerous situation without support. Their police department also has an officer certified in crime prevention through environmental design. We call it CEPDED, and that's to design spaces to minimize the chances and make them less prone to misuse. And furthermore, we also just yesterday had a discussion and came to a consensus that we're going to we're not going to allow, we're going to control the kind of behavior that's taken place in public spaces in recent years. And I think that we can step up in a way to help make this more possible and less of a burden on schools, but it would give us the opportunity, give you the opportunity to consider more how we can arrange shared use and after hours use during the summer and the winter and weekends for schools, and see them as recreational spaces taking the places of parks when those parks don't exist, which is a lot of our community. So thank you.
All right. You have a comment?
Hello, Chico Unified Board. My name is James Siegert. I'm with Modern Building. I just felt compelled just to basically introduce myself. I know that I've met some of you already, but introduce myself and let you know that I am always available for any discussion on any topic, anytime. I know that there's been a number of allegations that have been flying around as of late, which are not dissimilar to allegations and different claims that the Carpenters Union has been making against our firm for the last few years. And I think they fail to take into consideration that we are also hardworking families with, in the office side of things and the field, that we are fully committed to the city of Chico and the community in which we live. We have enjoyed and appreciated the work that we've done with the board, or that's Chico Unified, for the last decades, that are still serving the community and Chico Unified quite well. And like I said, if there's anything that you guys have or any questions, please never hesitate to inquire. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other speakers from the community that would like to make a comment about items not on the agenda? All right. Thank you so much for everybody's efforts and your time coming out and speaking tonight. We're going to be moving on to consent calendar. Do any members of the board have any technical questions in regards to the consent calendar?
Madam President, hold on while I get myself oriented. I would like to pull for further discussion 6 and 7, the school plans for student. Am I on? The school plans for student achievement, and 7, which is the school safety plans.
Sorry, just give me a quick second. Okay, do we have a motion or a second?
I'm just pulling it for further
Okay, I'm
discussion.
sorry.
Somebody will have to move to approve the rest of the
Yes.
stuff.
Do we have a motion? So to move the rest of it. Yes, I so move. Okay, a second.
I'll second.
All right. And now we're open for discussion at this time.
So one point that I just wanted to note, I was in the consent agenda, I was really happy to note in the accounts payable that that all those checks have been being written for the bathroom renovations. So I love seeing that I know that's happening, and so that's great to see.
Any other comment or discussion? All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote at this time. We'll start with you, Member Hayes.
Case I.
Conkin, aye.
Olson, I.
Robinson, I.
All right, this passes 4-0. Okay, we'll be moving on.
Well, now we're going to go to the discussion of the two things she pulled.
Discussion, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I pulled 6.
Yes,
That's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
I took notes. this
Yes,
time.
thank you.
The reason why I asked that these be set aside for a little bit of discussion, some was to highlight the importance of these two items. The school student achievement plan has something in there for every school that helps with trying to get to the plans for that school's work for that year. A plan of action to raise the academic performance of all students to the level of performance goals established under the California Academic Performance Index. Now, the bad news. I appreciate the hard work that administration at each site puts into developing these plans. They coordinate with our LCAP goals and with the individual school site goals and their targeted emphasis. There are an average of 56 pages per item for a board member to review in order to come to a board meeting and speak intelligently about what our schools are proposing. And I'm going to admit, I couldn't get through them all. Those are hours and hours and hours and hours of very well written. I mean, this stuff is important. And the things that staff have put in these school improvement plans are vital. And they do, in fact, give a picture of what the school intends to do with their grants, with, you know, their federal monies, their title monies. But if as a school board member, if I'm going to, in good conscience, come to a school board meeting and be prepared to vote, I can't. There are so many hours of reading through the stuff that, you know, I'm just going to let my fellow board members know I don't feel well prepared because I couldn't get through them all. The next one that I pulled was 7, which is the safety plan. The safety plan considers approval of the school safety plans submitted by each site. And I picked a couple of different sites, some that I'm pretty familiar with and one that I was not. And again, 56 pages of what they say they have available to do to support their students, support counseling, support just all the aspects of the school site. But with each school, there's so many pages of recommendation that, again, a reasonable school board member, if I'm going to consider myself a reasonable school board member, couldn't get through them. Some of the last one I read this morning was Chapman. And there's beautiful stuff. I mean, what they have designed in the way of a program and what their report says is admirable and well done. And I wish everyone could see them, but because of the volume in each one of these reports, it's not possible, in my opinion. So what to do? I have a suggestion. And the suggestion is not to avoid and not look at these reports because they are important. But for Superintendent Blake to take to your administrative council the problem that I'm speaking about and see if there isn't a way to stagger during the year when, I mean, some of them have a drop dead date. They have to be done by the 15th of October. Thank you. But some of them state right in them that they're a living document, that they're an ongoing, and that things get changed with school site council input, with input from administration. So if your senior cabinet could come up with a plan to talk to administration about staggering when those reports are made available so that the board has a chance to truly review them, because this is good stuff. There's a lot of thought going into what administration is putting in these reports. So that's my complaint and my suggestion. The complaint is you can't get through, or at least I can't, 25, 30 hours of agenda review through these reports. And pull out questions and things, because occasionally you'd find something and you went, I wonder what that really means. But with the time constraints, you don't have time to formulate intelligent questions back to you, sir, to get answers to. So that's my complaint and my suggestion, and my thanks and gratitude to the staffs at the sites that put these reports together, because they're clearly, everybody is weighing in on what the health office does, what the elementary counselors do, what the targeted case managers do, what the expectations for, different parts of the school's interaction with their students and families. So it's good stuff. It's just somehow or other it needs to be, I don't want it condensed. I don't want anything taken out, just stagger it possibly, so that as a board member, I can raise my hand and say, yeah, I read those. They're amazing. And this is, the safety plan have some constraints with things like an active shooter drill. I didn't know until I read these for this agenda that parents can opt their students out of those drills if they don't want, if they don't want their students to participate in what we're doing with our active shooters, that you're run, hide, fight, things that we're taught. And so that's okay. I'm going to shut up now.
Well, well, I wanted to comment. I have, yeah, it is problematic. There's only so many hours in a day that one's awake, and the agenda's published on Friday late afternoon, and then here we are on Wednesday, and so there's only so much time. And this isn't a problem that's unique to us. I don't know if you noticed in the CSBA, the California School Boards Association sends out little updates, and there's actually a bill on the assembly floor which would eliminate the school accountability report and other duplicative and overlapping reports. It's actually, this is something that is problematic, not just here, but everywhere. I also would say that an idea that I had that maybe senior cabinet could do is having worked at a high school where I was wholly familiar with our reports, because you're focused on your school. But even our sister schools, I didn't. You just don't. There's only so much that you can submit your attention to. If there were substantive changes year to year, oftentimes it's really just going through the document saying, okay, is there anything that has to be changed? Is there any updates that have happened in the last year? And oftentimes there's not. There aren't huge changes. But I would say this, that if Pedro or Heather or senior cabinet knows that there are some specific important changes year to year, that would be helpful for the board to know that that okay, basically it's we've reviewed our school safety plan, or we've reviewed the school plan for student achievement, and much of it's the same, but here are some important differences. And I think that would be incredibly helpful, because once you do familiarize yourself with the site plans, and one other thing that I would say that would be helpful is there are certain areas where I think basically school to school should be very much the same. And if there are differences like site to site that seem substantive, like why is that? And there may be really good reasons for that, but like there's, just like in the state of California, we have certain requirements for graduation that are going to, those do change school to school, like district to district, like depending on whether they're on a block schedule or whether they're on a traditional schedule, the number of credits needed to graduate may change. But typically, it's like you're going to have government and econ your senior year, right? Those sorts of things. There are things that school to school would be very similar. But if there are big changes between, let's say, Little Chico Creek and Emma Wilson, why is there so much difference? That would be interesting to know.
I'm going to add a little bit too, because I know I did have some questions on a couple of these things, and it's nice to be able to ask the question and you get the answer on a Monday afternoon, but there's really no discussion around it. And I feel like for me, that's what's missing, especially when it comes to the school safety plans. In today's world, I feel like we need to be able to have discussion and gain understanding of this is what's in the report and how does that look on the campus.
I feel like that could be a good discussion for like a special board meeting, maybe like school safety plans.
Where does that leave us tonight? Sure.
Nowhere.
You're the board.
Yeah. All right. Any other further discussion? I think you had a comment.
Yeah, just to remind what I did, I pulled them for further discussion.
Okay.
I think we just did that.
Yes, we did.
So
Yes, we
now
did.
it's open.
Let's go ahead and
It's
vote.
open for a motion, and I
Yes.
move approval of the items 6 and 7 under the consent calendar.
All right.
I second.
Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and vote all together if that's okay. All those in favor of approval of the action calendar with the exception of, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that
The
passes.
consent calendar.
Consent calendar. Yes, sorry about that.
So I will talk to you all about getting something going in the early fall to talk about this, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, right now we're going to be moving on to item 8A2, approval of the California Department of Education General Waiver for Academy for Change Community Day School to allow sixth grade students
President
to.
Conklin, I think there's one item prior to that.
I'm so sorry. I feel very off. Okay, educational services. Okay, new instructional materials adoption for junior high school math. Okay, come on up. Sorry, guys.
Thank you, School Board. It's a pleasure to be able to present to you the junior high adoption, math adoption that is. So I have Melanie Parent from Chico Junior here, along with Carrie Gert. I have Mr. Chris Palmer from Bidwell Junior. I have Victoria, hopefully I pronounce it Leitner. Oh, no, let me get that right. Lightner. I want to make sure I get that right, Victoria, from Marsh Junior. And so they're going to be here to discuss the adoption process that we went through and how we came to bring forth to you the approval for the adoption and the $910,000 cost that it's going to incur. All right, with that,
Good evening, board. My name is Melanie Perrin. I am a sixth grade teacher at Chico Junior. So we're just going to quickly go over this with you guys, what our process was. I'm gonna click this, maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we started this process over 2 years ago in the fall of 2024. The math departments all got together at the secondary level and we created a rubric that we thought would help us to figure out what is the best curriculum that our students deserve and need to help them. In the spring, we were able to have publishers come to us and present their curriculum to the high schools and to the junior highs. And we were able to really look deeply into the different options that were out there because there is a lot of different ones. In the fall of this school year, on our first district-wide day, the very first day we came back, we, as courses, decided which standards we wanted to focus on while using and piloting these new curriculums that we had narrowed down. So each course, Math A picked 2 standards that they wanted to focus on, Math C, Math B. And then in the spring, we had another curriculum come out and present to us because we weren't quite certain on the 2 that we had piloted. And 3 teachers modeled lessons from that curriculum. The curriculums that we looked at and had presentations from were Amplify Desmos, Mid-School Math, Carnegie, CPM, Imagine IM, McGraw-Hill, and Savas. Oops, sorry. So after we were presented, not this school year, the last school year, after we had all of our presentations from the different curriculums, I sent out a survey to the junior high teachers to narrow it down to see which curriculums were they most interested in looking at and which ones did we think that we would be willing to pilot. That's the other thing. Piloting takes a lot of time. So which ones did we feel like we could see in our classrooms? The 2 that we narrowed it down to were Carnegie Learning and Mid-School Math. Whoops, sorry. So our second district-wide day, this fall, we got together and some of us had already piloted a couple of the curriculums. So the two that we had looked at were mid-school math and Carnegie. In October, as a secondary group, just the junior highs actually, we decided to create things that we noticed and wondered about the curriculums. And so with Carnegie, some of the things that we noticed was that their textbooks didn't necessarily match up to the online curriculum that they had posted. Also, as a teacher, it was really tricky to navigate their online platform. We had to open multiple windows and have multiple tabs going. And as you can imagine, we were starting to lose it a little bit with that. And then, so we also just wondered, like, if we gave them another year, is this going to be fixed or is this something that they're going to stick with? For mid-school math, we noticed that they gave them real world problems. They asked the students to watch a video and didn't give them a ton of information and then asked them to solve a problem using what they knew how to do. We thought that it was really engaging, but we were nervous that the use of videos with every single lesson would get tedious after having that for 3 years because you'd have math A, math B, and math C. And so those are the reasons that led us to be at this point in October and November thinking like, what are we going to do now? And so now Chris is going to tell you.
Great job, Melanie. Hey, folks. My name is Chris Palmer. I'm at Bidwell. Yeah, we'll make this quick here. Like she said, no consensus. So reach out to another publisher. And we looked at Imagine I Am because that's what the high school is going to be looking at. Keep that continuity there. They presented to all junior highs, math teachers during our district-wide staff development day. As she said earlier, we had 3 teachers model some lessons, and then every teacher had an opportunity to go and watch and observe. And we had a debrief with the site reps following that. This is amazing. I mean, I don't know if you can see that graph, but how often does this happen in the world? But we voted after that, and everyone who voted responded for Imagine I Am. Every single teacher, Chico Jr., Bidwell, Marsh. So to have 100% vote for one curriculum is pretty compelling. And so we made sure that we follow the proper board policy as well. We opened it up to the public, allowed them to be able to see the curriculum. As you state in your board policy 6161.1, it has a broad spectrum of knowledge and viewpoints. It's equal access for all. It's effective learning resources guided by the California state standards. If you go to the next board policy that you guys have, board policy 6141, you guys state as a board that you consider curriculum improvement to be a priority for the district. So we're very, very excited to be able to present this to you today. You can see these are some of the comments made by different teachers at the different sites. I don't want to offend you by just reading it to you. You guys can read it to yourself, but I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to you all.
So now it's a board decision. Discussion, then action.
Does the board have any questions?
Not really questions, but congratulations. And I have to say, having been a classroom teacher for years and years, I could feel I felt anxious. And you're talking about October and November and thinking, oh my God.
This has been like my baby for like 2 years. So I'm
Right.
like ready to get to you guys to say it's done.
Right. But what a nice thing that in the spring to like, first of all, I applaud you for like, deciding this isn't working and not just sticking with it and gutting it out, but to say, no, let's see if there's something else. So congratulations and thank you for all that hard work. Appreciate that.
I have a question. Because every reason why we picked it talks about teachers can have flexibility in using it. It works with all learning and teaching styles. Can you think off the top of your head any like specific examples?
So with this curriculum, it really does lend itself for us to use building thinking classrooms, which is a focus of some of our math teachers here at the junior high level. And so for that reason, I was able, in my own class, I was one of the 3 teachers who piloted it. And I was able to take some of the problems that they had and instantly put my kids on the whiteboard like they have been doing all school year long. So they didn't even know we were trying something new. They were like, is this that old thing we were doing? I was like, no, it's not. This is a totally different thing. And so it was really cool for me to have that moment where my kids could get up, but also for my kids to have that moment where the learning hasn't changed, but these problems are deep and rich and ready for them to like dive into. So that was really nice.
And I know a focus for the district in math classes, I forget what you are calling it. But I've been in and observed classes where kids are up and moving and they're here and they're there and they're there and they're there.
Yeah.
And this lends itself quite easily to that, it sounds like. And the kids love to be able to move in math.
Yes, they do.
And just to clarify, we are looking for a motion to purchase Imagine IM.
Do we have any public comment? Or did you have anything else you wanted to say? Do you want to?
I have a board,
Yes.
I have a board comment, not a public comment, although I am public. This was one of the things when I got my agenda that I was able to go through and understand what you guys were doing. And I appreciate that. And I did want you to know that with this agenda item presentation, I felt like I knew what I was going to be asked to vote on. And so, Madam President, if you are ready for an emotion.
Yeah, let me just make sure there wasn't any public comment first. I did. Okay. Public comment?
Mitch Schwartz, I'd just like to say thank you very much for all the over and above work that you have done.
Thank you. All right. So at this time, Eileen, if you wanted to make a motion.
Yes, I'm trying to find, are there numbers connected with a resolution? I don't, huh? 881?
8A1.
8A1. Madam President, I move approval of 8A1, the adoption of the recommended junior high school math curriculum.
Right. We have a motion by Member Robinson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Member Hayes. Any further board discussion? Okay, so let's vote on the approval of the adoption of the math curriculum, 8A1. Let's vote together. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes with a vote of 4-0.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming. All right. Moving along to the item I tried to jump to earlier, 8A2. This is a public hearing discussion action item discussing the approval of the California Department of Education general waiver for Academy for Change Community Day School to allow 6th grade students to attend the program, presented by Pedro Caldera.
Yes, that is correct. We have 6th graders at Academy for Change on the Fairview campus. And so we do have this waiver before you. I want to let the board know that this waiver came before you 2 years ago. And if approved tonight, I do believe this is the last time that we have to go before the board for approval.
All right. And it was approved last time, correct? Okay. Are there any questions from the board?
Is there a reason why it's the last time? Is this just that it's been there so many years that then it
Correct.
becomes, okay, standard?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we need to open this for, open the public hearing and ask for public comment at this time. All right, seeing no public comment, we can close the public hearing. Is there a board member that has a motion associated with this agenda item?
I motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Vice President Olson and a second by Member Robinson. Any further discussion? All right, let's go ahead and vote together. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Yes. We are moving along to 8A3. This is informational only, discussing the annual spring charter school visit report by Heather Cifuentes.
Good evening. It's my honor tonight to bring forth this informational item. We have, as the authorizer in Chico Unified, we look each year annually at each of our charters and have a site visit. We get the opportunity to learn a little bit more of what changes, what goals, what are some of the emphases that they're focusing on to improve and keep the momentum going on their sites. It's always really fun for me to get to go out and visit with the amazing charter team that we have and learn a little bit more about the offerings for our community. So with that, it is just informational. The charters were presented ahead of time with a report. They provide information. Then we have discussion based on that and get an opportunity to see the classrooms as well.
Are there any questions?
No, just a thank you to Heather for her flexibility. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Any public comment?
And they all showed up tonight too. Just
There is one person on our list, Devinder, for this particular item. Is that person in the room? No.
Devinder Kaur? No? All right.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment aside from her? For him? Them? Okay. This is informational only, so we don't need to take action on this item this evening. We're going to be moving along to business services, 8B1. This is discussion along with action, resolution 1726 -26, declaring the futility of public bidding for change order work on the Marigold Elementary School Transitional Kindergarten Playground Accessibility Project with Julie Kissel.
That's a mouthful. Good evening, and thank you for having me here this evening. This item is regarding our project at Marigold Elementary School. As you know, we currently have the addition of 2 TK classrooms and a new TK playground on the site. Unbeknownst to us during planning for that project, the campus has some pretty important needs for special education students on the kindergarten playground as well as the main playground for campus. They currently have 7 or 8 students who are wheelchair bound, and we would really like to create some inclusive play on their campus to make it so that the students have an equal experience at school. So what you have in front of you is a declaration of futility. It basically is stating that since we already have a contract under construction on a major portion of the campus, that we move forward with awarding the work to that contractor that is already on site, which is United Building Contractors. And it's in the amount of $686,550.61. The reason we do this resolution is because there is a labor code provision that no single change order should be awarded that exceeds 10% of contract without this resolution. So that's why you're seeing that tonight. Thank you. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Does the board member have any questions?
I'm assuming that the term, so that declaring the futility, is it like a legal term that comes up? Is that
Yes,
is that
it is.
true? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I assume so. Okay.
Any public comment? Okay, this is a action item. Is there a board member who has a motion regarding this agenda item?
I move that resolution 1726-26 is passed.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by member Hayes and a second by member Robinson. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote at this time. All of those in favor of business item 8B1 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, 8B2, this is public hearing discussion action item, a fee justification study and adoption of resolution number 172526, change in statutory school fees, also presented by Julie Kissel.
So every 2 years on the even year, the state allocation board sets the amount of money that can be charged as developer fees for residential and commercial construction for school districts in the state of California. Several months ago, they did increase the amount of fees that we could charge as level 1 fees, which is the only fees that our district charges. And that requires every 2 years that we create a justification study that creates that nexus between the need for funds to house students that might be generated from residential or commercial development and provide that study to the board for review. We do have Lynn Gruber here from Koppel and Gruber. She has worked on these studies for many years for the district. And she's going to give just a short presentation. I'd like to invite Lynn up.
Thank you, Julie. My name is Lynn Gruber. I'm with the firm Koppel and Gruber Public Finance. We've had the pleasure of working with Julie and her staff for a number of years now. And she basically went through the first couple of slides. So I'll be even briefer. The state allocation board did increase the fees by about 4%, which is about a 2% for each year, year over year. So our new fee cap is $5.38 for new residential construction and 87 cents for commercial. So again, these fees are charged at the request of a building permit. So they're only charged if there is new construction going on. The fee justification study confirms the nexus requirements are met, meaning that there is a relationship between the construction of new commercial or residential and what those school facilities are needed for those children. We determined a cost impact of $10.13 per square foot for residential. And again, we're capped at the $5.38. And then for commercial, the cost impacts range from 29 cents for rental self-storage up to $22.16 for commercial. But again, we're capped at the 87 cents per square foot. Let's see. Our study methodology, we look at the projected student enrollment based on the projected new housing. We look at the costs based on the capital improvement projects that the school district has put together, and those determine the eligible costs. And then the cost per square foot, if it's greater than $5.38, it's justified. If it's below that, it wouldn't be justified. This puts the numbers to those, that methodology. We anticipate about 3,600 new residential units coming into the district with cost at about $57 million. And that gets to our per square footage cost of $10.13. The commercial is a little bit more complicated. We look at the employee generation rates for the commercial industrial categories. Those are based upon the code, prescribed by the code. New employees in the area create the need for new student housing, and interdistrict students also impact new housing because of the employees bringing their students in. We don't want to double dip, so we also take off what is projected to be generated off of the new residential, and that is our net impact for commercial. These are the different categories, and you can see the variation in what the impact was justified at, and then the maximum that we can charge. So the fee process, again, the SAB increased the rates in January. The public hearing was noticed and published on May 8th and May 15th. Tonight is the night of the public hearing. And if the resolution is approved, the new fees would go into effect 60 days after, on that would be July 20. This is just a historical fees that the State Allocation Board has adopted over the years, so you can kind of see how they've increased over time. And then the estimated revenue from those increased fees, it's a fee difference of about $329 per house that we're showing the increase. With that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Well, I was curious, the $329 per house, is that, I would assume, is that just an average when you're looking at how, I mean, since it's a per square foot, right?
That's correct.
So you just have a,
Right.
okay.
We anticipate that the average unit that will be built is about 1,567 square feet.
Okay.
So if that average is built, the difference between the fee that's being charged now and the new fee, if approved, is $329. And remember, this is the school district's only opportunity to get that fee. You can't ever go back and charge once a permit's been issued. So it is an increase, but it's a small increase.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we did have one comment that was submitted, but it was my understanding that they weren't able to make it. But I just wanted to make sure there was no one who was planning on speaking on their behalf, and that was the Chico Builders Association. All right. Okay, seeing that they're not here, I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment, if there's any comment from the public at this time. Okay. All right, seeing no public comment, is there a board member that would like to make a motion?
Yes, I move that resolution.
I'm sorry, this has to be a public hearing.
Public hearing,
Oh,
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Any public comment? Okay, closing the public hearing. Is there a motion that would like to be made at this?
I motion that resolution number 1725-26 be passed.
I'll second that motion.
All right. We have a motion by member Hayes and a second by member Robinson. Any further discussion? Let's go ahead and vote. All of those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this passes 4-0. Thank you. All right, we are moving along to 8B3, discussion action. This is regarding the 2026 summer projects presented by Eric German.
So thank you once again for allowing me to come up here and just present these projects to you. And, you know, I always like to give a shout out to our CSEA employees. The amount of work they get done over the course of the year and especially over the summer. Our expectations are always high on them. And with the increase in summer programs that we're running, those expectations increase even more. You know, we look at our summers now as really starting in July with the amount of students we're having on campus. So we're kind of condensing the amount of work we're expecting out of them to get done. And you know, it's amazing how much they can accomplish and what they still get done for us. Can't really praise them enough for what they do. Summer projects, you guys have the list that we submitted to you. Every year we try to do things that just kind of help our schools, the longevity of them. Things like the asphalt repair, the overhang repairs, roofing projects, just kind of general maintenance items that are just kind of routine things we have to do to keep the schools functioning, keep them running. And those are kind of what we're submitting to you. And then on top of these projects, we also have our work order system where we'll get a lot of projects or work orders submitted to us throughout the year that just aren't practical to do when the students are on campus. So we spend a lot of our summers with work orders that we consider summer projects as well that our crews will be working on, whether that's replacing lighting in classrooms to carpeting to flooring to wall repairs, and you name it, our guys jump in there and take care of it. So just love to ask if there's any comments you guys had or questions you had on some of the projects, I think.
Good evening, Eric. Thank you.
Yes.
You already know what one of mine is. The the first thing on the list for this year was one of the same things that was on the list for last year. And that's putting lights on the flagpoles at our sites.
Yes.
And in inquiring to you, thank you for the response. That work has begun.
Yes, we have started some of them.
And so then my next question was, okay, if the work has been done, why isn't the $5,000 reduced by, you know, an appropriate amount? Because some of the work has been done. And your answer was?
Well, we always want to make sure we're planning ahead and covering in case any emergencies come up. And when you're dealing with schools, we're dealing with a lot of age variation between buildings. So the amount of work you have to do on the flagpole at, say, Marigold that had new construction on it versus the flagpole at Parkview is completely different. So we want to make sure we have a buffer in there that if we run into something that's unexpected, out of the ordinary, we have funds to cover it. We don't want to be coming back to you saying, oh, we didn't anticipate this. So that number, our goal is, as I said in the email to you, our goal is to come in under budget on everything. The nice thing about this budget is that money can roll forward into other projects. So our goal is to come in under budget, but I also don't want to underscore us and then end up having to come back asking for more and not being able to complete the project.
Okay, this is just a request from a board member wanting to make this more useful to me.
Yeah.
When I look at the report, it doesn't have a column for what school year, you know, those projects are going to be. And I know that, you know, you do some and then have to vacate because of another project and do some more. But if you could add a column that kind of gives us a date range for when this stuff would be done. Well, if there isn't a way to show what's been expended, so how much, you know, because it's a 3%, what is it, MMR or R?
RRMA.
Yeah, that. How far we are into spending our allotment of that 3%, because stuff is tight and the cost of what you have to do keeps going up.
It never gets cheaper, does it?
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. And this list here is what we're asking for starting July 1. So our hopes is to get approval tonight. We're going to start cutting POs, and then the goal is to have work begin July 1 on these projects, since it's that year's budget we're asking for approval.
Okay,
So,
if you could just add a little bit of information with another column that, you know, as a board member, that would help me to take, you know, a look from year to year, although I won't be here next year.
well, and I think you know, the title of this is a little bit misleading sometimes.
Yes.
Because we call it our summer projects, but
Yes.
that was something we started when we first started getting that 3%. We just came up with the name of, hey, we can get stuff done in the summer, so let's create a summer project list. But really what it is, you know, a better term I think might be special projects, because it is something we're starting July, but to have the expectation to get everything done in that July period only
Yeah.
before the kids come back is, you know, pretty high hopes. So it really is extra projects that we're going to do throughout the course of the school year. A majority of them we try to get done in July just because that's the easiest time with the least amount of activity on campus, and we can jump in, focus, and getting on work. As you start moving to the school year, then you start to work with the logistics of working around students and kids, and it becomes a lot.
Or roofing smells like it.
Yeah, right. There's always
I read that
something
saga
that
last
that comes
year.
up. So
Oh my gosh.
our goal is to try to get done as much as we can in
Yeah.
July.
Yeah, understand, but a little bit more information.
Absolutely.
Would be wonderful.
We can do that.
And thank you too, to the CSEA people that get roped.
You know, and oftentimes they're behind the scenes, so they're not, you know,
Yeah.
they're not seen, but the amount of work they get done is pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
it is amazing. And I thank you.
Yeah.
My question is regarding the regrading track project.
Yeah.
It just says elementary over here on site. Is that?
Most all of them. There's a couple of the elementary. Shasta doesn't have a track, but it's their jogging tracks. We're going to be putting new material down there, regrading them, rolling them, compacting them, just kind of
So
improving them for
all the
kids.
elementaries?
Yes.
Okay.
All the elementaries that have the jogging tracks.
Did
Yeah.
Citrus get done?
Citrus has a track. Yeah. So that'll
Yes,
be
I
one
know
of the
they do,
ones.
but
Right now, I believe it's kind of within the construction area of the new construction. So it just got fenced off last week, a portion of it. But yeah, they have a track out
okay.
there.
Yeah, and they have programs that use their track quite a bit.
I think all the schools do. Yeah, we've been busy this week. A lot of them are doing their running clubs or their jogathons, track meets. So we've been busy trying to get them usable for them, marked off, and kids seem to be having fun doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any public comment? Yes. Coming up. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe I just had a question. I know that Hooker Oak is on schedule to get some new bathrooms installed. Is that in a different document than this one? Is that like a master plan document, not the summer projects? Just clarification.
Different.
Yes.
Question.
I guess it gets to end here. Yeah, that's a different program. Facilities is working on that, so that's not a part of our summer list.
Any further public comment? Okay, I think, yes.
I just want to thank you for Hooker Oak has historically not been included in a lot of these lists, and we were really excited to see our name on this list in some really meaningful ways. We're not even mad that we have to repaint our sensory path on the laptop. We'll take the win for that. But thank you for prioritizing some of those projects that are going to directly impact our students in a big way. And I know that the campus is really excited to come back to school in the fall to all of these improvements. So thank you.
Yeah. We're ready at this time if there's a board member that would like to make a motion.
I'll motion to approve the 2026 summer projects.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Olson and a second by President Conkin. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote together. All those in favor of approval of the 2026 summer projects, please vote now by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're moving along to discussion action item number, or in regards to resolution 172726, committing fund balances presented by Jacqueline Kruger.
Yes, good evening, board. I'm here in front of you this evening in preparation of the 26-27 original budget that I will be presenting next month at the June 17th meeting. So in front of you this evening is a resolution to commit fund balance. So with the district our size, there's ed code that says any fund balance that's over 10% has to have a purpose. So this evening I'm bringing forward a document for you to commit $12 million, $4 million for textbook adoption. As we saw, we just had junior high math, secondary math will be following that, as well as planned deficit spending of $8 million. So we are in declining enrollment and looking forward at programming moving forward. So we want to commit some of those dollars, acknowledging that we will be using those to cover deficits in future years.
Do we have any questions?
I have a question of, on this resolution, do we have to read it in as the whereas, all, that whole thing, or, so,
For the minutes, you mean?
well,
For the motion?
yeah, for the motion?
The
Or-
motion can just be the passage of resolution 1727-26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
That
was
gonna-
willing to read it, but I'm just saying. Okay.
Any public comment? Were you wanting to make a motion, Member Hayes?
Sure, I motion that resolution 1727-26 be adopted.
I'll second that motion.
A motion by Member Hayes and a second by Member Robinson. Any further discussion? All right, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes also. We are moving right along. 8C. This is 8C1, discussion action, the updated 26-27 student calendar presented by John Shepard this evening.
Great, thank you, President Calkins. So in front of you is some very insignificant changes in terms of the length of the calendar. I've brought this calendar to you 3 times already. We want to make sure we have it accurately represented on our website, but we did get some information from our secondary schools that they wanted to be sure the minimum days were accurately represented. So the major change you'll see there is simply a minimum day shifting from a Friday of finals week to Thursday. And that's it on the first one.
Sorry, what month is that? Just so I can.
It's in December.
December.
It's the purple days.
Gotcha. Any further questions? Public comment? We have a motion to approve the new calendar for the 27-28 year. I'll
think
move
we-
approval.
Isn't
Yeah.
it this 26, 27?
26, 27.
26, 27.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Yes. Okay, I was jumping ahead. 26-27 year. Do those separately.
I'll move that the new student calendar for the 26-27 school year be adopted.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Member Hayes and a second by Member Robinson. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Again, this is regarding the 26-27 student calendar year. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This passes 4-0. Now we are moving on to the 27-28 year. Also again presented by John Shepard.
Great, thank you. So you'll see the change for the 27-28 student calendar. There are two changes. One is to embed an October non-student day. It's something that's been desired, for 26-27, and we want to continue to represent that in the 27-28 calendar. And as well, adding a day in November, because we were taking a look at the impact of the different holidays in November. And by embedding a non-student day late in November, you can see on November 12th, we hope to significantly improve our attendance rate by having that be a non-student day. We can add a student day to the week coming into school. If we didn't do that, school would start on a Friday, which I don't think many people want to do. It does allow our staff to come in 2 or 3 days before the first day of school after the weekend. And, financially, it's definitely a win for us.
So can you tell me the October day? It looks like it's,
October 4th.
oh, it is October 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the October 25th?
That's a district-wide staff development day.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to see. It's so tiny.
Yeah.
sorry.
Well,
Okay.
Erica's going to work her magic and they're going to look great on the website. She's really good at it. But the nice thing about the October 4th date is that it's essentially we've got September 6th, October 4th, and then we jump into November with quite a few holidays. So it's a good balance.
Well, I really appreciate the thoughtfulness of having the 12th off in November, because then you have Veterans Day. 11/11 is a federal holiday, and then I think it's smart to just go ahead and schedule that in as a non-student day, which allows families to perhaps travel or go visit or just relax. Yeah. So. Any public comment? Okay. I think we're ready to go ahead and make a motion then at this time. I will go ahead and approve the updated 2027, or make a motion to approve the updated 27-28 student calendar.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by member or President Conkin and a second by Vice President Olson. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes.
Thank you.
All right, moving along to agenda item 8D1. This is informational only. We're going to be doing a first reading of the revised, updated new board policies, and Superintendent Greg Blake will be doing that this time.
So this is we have 6 that we're bringing forward for a first reading. So that you will have these until we eventually bring them to you for a final vote on June 17th. So plenty of time to take a look at them and ask any questions you might have, and we can help you with whatever you need to look at these and determine on the 17th whether or not they move forward with them. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Public comment? Okay. It is an action item. So is there a motion associated with this item?
No, this one was informational.
Informational only.
Yeah. The next one's an action item.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Trying to get through this. There's so much on the agenda. Okay. No
Nothing to do
action
now.
needed
Nothing.
tonight. Let's move along to the one where the action is actually needed. 8D2, discussion to consider an amendment to the previously adopted minutes.
Right.
Thank you,
So
Greg.
we have, it's been requested to change the minutes from a previous board meeting. Essentially what it boils down to is it was a motion made, and we'd like it to reflect the exact language that was used in that motion. So tonight, what we do is we actually bring forward a motion to then change the language at a future meeting. But tonight's motion is just to bring it forward for change at a future meeting. So, something along the lines of making a motion to consider an amendment for a previously adopted minutes for item 9A3 from February 18th, 2026 would be what we're looking for. And then we'll bring it at a future meeting when Tom is back to actually talk about what the language needs to be and how we're going to change it. Making sense? We have to have two motions to do this.
I think it makes sense to most of us.
This one's just to say, we're gonna change it at a future meeting. Or consider changing it at a future meeting.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Okay. So
Is there a
how about consider an amendment to a previously adopted minutes? How about that?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Do we have a second to that?
I'll second.
Any board discussion?
Well, I just want to point out that I do know, I want to recognize the difficulty of taking minutes on particularly that happened to be a particularly long meeting. And also there is no expectation that minutes are verbatim. And I just want to point that out just to the public, just in general. So the fact that this is going to be considered in the future is just that it's a consideration, and that's all I want to say.
Right. So if I'm remembering correctly, I made the motion and Vice President Olson you made the second. Member Hayes made the second. Okay, any further discussion? Let's go ahead and vote then at this time. All those in favor? If by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, this passes.
Madam President, just for kicks, what was that motion?
You're asking me?
No, I'm asking Erica. I just want to make sure that we got it right so that we're moving forward. Okay, we're comfortable with that. All right.
Okay. We are moving along to agenda item 8D3. This is also discussion action. This is regarding camera installation, data storage, and infrastructure. For those who haven't been here at previous meetings, this has been an ongoing discussion for us. So at this time, we're not going to be necessarily asking anyone in particular any questions for clarification purpose. But if there are any members of the board that would have a specific question in mind, I mean, I think we'll have plenty of time to discuss later, but. Okay. Is there, let's see, we do have a speaker. We're going to
You've got two on the list.
Two on the list. Hold on one second. And we will have opportunity to have some time for public comment for those who haven't submitted a speaker card, but we'll go in the order that we have here this evening. And our first community member is Alicia Trider. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak again on this. Yes, my name is Alicia Trider, and I just want to point out that the recent Canvas hack is a great reminder that everything is hackable. All web and cloud-based technologies have unsecure external access points. Right now, you have the power to set anti-AI policies that protect our children and school staff from predatory companies like Riverside and Verkada. You have the power to uphold California laws such as the California Consumer Privacy Act, the California Constitution Right to Privacy, and student protections under federal laws like Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. However, with this $2 million contract, you have ceded your power to a private company with a history of data breaches, sexual harassment lawsuits, and pornographic misuse of their stored data. I'll let you Google it. It's horrific. Riverside Technologies, Verkada, and the CUSD IT department claim that this AI technology is making schools safer, but they don't have any evidence to support this. So that is a theory, not a valid argument. Riverside Technologies and Verkada claim that their cloud storage is secure, and yet they are already under federal oversight for multiple data breaches. Riverside and Verkada claim that their technology increases student safety, but bringing in a cloud service creates the opportunity for data breaches and for the misuse of predators. Speaking of which, Eric Stephen Georges was a CUSD IT department employee arrested for child pornography. I have a real problem with the IT department keeping images and videos of children safe because they lack oversight and transparency. Let's be honest. Now, legally, contracts that were passed without proper public input via the consent agenda, like this one, can always be reassessed by public demand. It is your obligation as publicly elected trustees to do this. Robert's Rules of Order, parliamentary procedures, and your fiduciary responsibilities compel you to seek public input from parents, educators, staff, and the public on this issue affecting minors. Your failure to disentangle this item from the consent agenda must be addressed. I also noticed that Tom Lando is not present tonight, so I suggest tabling any vote on this topic until the next meeting because all members should be present for such an important topic, discussion, and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Teresa here this evening? Thank you.
Me again, first time, third time. Hi, my name is Teresa Bond. I'm a parent at Hooker Oak Elementary School. I unfortunately wasn't able to come to any of the public forums and focus groups on this issue, so I just wanted to make sure that my concerns and the concerns of some of the other parents that weren't able to go to those meetings are heard. I think I'm here today. I know I'm here today because I believe that the issue before us is not one about the system that we install today, but what becomes possible tomorrow. Our children should not be a testing ground for emerging AI surveillance, regardless if it's in the classroom or not. I think that's actually a really disingenuous thing that the board has said, that these videos won't be in the classroom. My child has 3 classes that happen outside. Elementary school kids are outside a lot, all day. And this data, while we say won't be used for facial recognition, the fact that that had to be taken off the table in the first place seems upsetting, will be stored somewhere. These images of our children, the gait in which they walk, the choices that they make of where to go on campus, who to interact with, that will be stored somewhere. That company might be shuttered and go somewhere else. We might have a 23andMe situation on our hands where we don't have control over that data that's happening with our students. Right now, many families in this district are familiar with the program iReady because our children use it in school. Right now, there's an ongoing federal lawsuit against this company, iReady, involving allegations about the collection and handling of student data and behavioral information, things that I'm sure we were not thinking would happen when we originally purchased iReady. But that lawsuit is still going on while the company denies that any wrongdoings. That case is still going on, and from what I read is very concerning. But that's exactly the point. Parents are increasingly being asked to trust larger education technology systems with huge amounts of information about our children before we really understand the long-term implications, safeguards, and future risks. I ask us to pause and not be on the bleeding edge of AI surveillance on our campuses. Let other districts with less concerned parents stumble across these thresholds and see what the ramifications of those choices are, and then make different choices as a board and as a district. I ask that we pause and wait to make a decision based upon what we see evolving in AI technology in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time remaining if there were any members from the public. And I see you also, so you'll be to follow.
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to make a suggestion that if you want more parents involved in these kind of meetings, it would be a good idea to offer some kind of childcare because we have kids. So we
Excuse
have to
me,
be
do you mind
involved.
introducing yourself?
Yeah, sorry, I'm Jackie.
Jackie.
Yes.
Parent?
Yes, parent, 2 kids, citrus. And I want to ask you to think about how much you know about AI and what it's really capable of before you even vote for this, which you already did. But it's probably not too much. And I would try to ask you to please reconsider, because this is just being imposed on these kids, and that's just not fair to them. Children deserve privacy in school and everywhere they go, but we're talking about school. And those $2 million could go to a much better use to support our teachers and our students in the classroom. So I just ask you to please reconsider and nullify this contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kelly Marie Lavin. I'm an instructor at Chico State, and I have a teaching credential. I taught high school previously, and I'm also a parent. So I'm also really concerned about this. I want to say here to the idea that the kids deserve privacy. I feel like, as someone who grew up in a time where my image was not perpetually recorded as a young person, I feel protected from a lot of the things that kids are not going to have that kind of privacy if we're not careful. Pardon me, I just had a couple notes I wanted to pull up. It disturbs me that if this goes through, basically, in order for a kid to get a public education at Chico Unified Schools, they will be required to be on film and to be have their image stored in a, you know, a location not controlled by our school, and honestly stored at all. My question for the board is, with whatever security system is in place, is there a reason that footage needs to be saved beyond a week? You know, is there some kind of greater security concern? I understand wanting to have eyes on potential problems that have gone down, but I'm not sure why footage needs to be stored at that extent. Just because we can store things doesn't mean it's necessarily for the best of all involved. I also just want to say, again, to kind of echo what some of the other folks are saying, we don't know who's among us. I don't mean to sound paranoid, but a colleague that I worked with closely ended up getting arrested for child pornography. They work among us, and it doesn't make me feel very secure about my child going to school somewhere where his image is going to be stored somewhere where, if a hack happens, either his privacy is violated, or, you know, it's why, I guess, is my big question, is what is the value that we're getting out of this, and does it pay off for the risk? Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you. Hey, Addison Winslow. I just want to say I think that all the previous speakers have some really good points about this, and not that it's a perfectly easy thing to deal with. These are emerging technologies, and people are trying to come up with ways to put them in place for good reasons in a lot of respects. And the city of Chico has some contracts with similar companies that I don't trust very much, and I think there's good reason not to trust them very much. And I don't know exactly how you can change like the framing of your arrangement with them, but I think it's worth considering doing something besides what you're offered by the company. Would rather, like, you're not the only school district dealing with this. Like everybody is at the same time, and would rather be part of a negotiated agreement on different terms and conditions than be part of a negotiated settlement agreement once something goes wrong, and we're just one of the many school districts that have a lawsuit to try to make up for that. So thank you.
Bryce Goldstein, also on the Chico City Council. I just want to say that we had some really great speakers. And although I'm mostly here to speak on the next item, which I hope people stay for, I hope that you will take seriously the concerns of parents and community members about emerging technologies in the schoolroom. Thank you.
Just want to make sure I'm seeing everyone. Any other public comment? All right. Thank you so much for sharing tonight. Okay. This time, we obviously, as a board, will have an opportunity to discuss this, but is there a motion at this time?
I would like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion to direct the district to install Verkada cameras utilizing AWS for storage, but only enabling the vehicle history feature at this time.
Do you want to clarify what that means in regards to any facial recognition features?
Correct. Right. So there's no facial recognition. There were 3 attributes. It was physical characteristics, personal history, or right, and then vehicle history. And I think that the first 2 use facial recognition in that, and I think that the community that came out previously and that attended the focus group or the committee or whatever we call it, that was something that was very important to respect that those features, that feature not be used. Vehicle history does not use that, and we can disable the other 2 features.
Okay. Yeah, and just in terms of Verkada language, they specify by saying we're not disabling these features, but rather we're not enabling the features.
Yeah, thank you.
So by default, they are not there. We would have to turn on the switch for those. Is everybody clear on the motion? Did you have a comment?
Well, you have a motion, you have
Yeah.
no second. yet.
Yes, I know. I was gonna look it for a second. Any seconds?
Well, I'll second her motion.
Oh, we will have an opportunity to discuss later, and if we don't bring that item up, then I will give you an opportunity because we're going to have an open discussion here. Right, so we have a motion by Vice President Olson, second by Member Robinson. And let's see, at this time, we'll have the opportunity to discuss.
Yes, I just want to say I appreciate comments from the public, and I want you to know that the board has listened, and the board has been responsive. I know that your wishes. I heard several people ask that the contract be nullified, and so this motion may be a disappointment to you. I also want to point out that camera use. So, in essence, cameras are being installed, replacing older cameras that have been installed for the last 14 years. So our students have, whether, our parents, there is not a parent that has a student in Chico Unified that doesn't have a child that has been recorded since kindergarten. And whether or not that is upsetting to you, that's a fact. Our seniors have been recorded for their entire for the entire time that they were in Chico Unified, and so in some ways there's not a lot of difference. Just better camera. No, this is true. We're not enabling the AI. So the AI portion, what we do have is better pixels and better image quality, which we're hoping will actually help administrators when there are issues assess the situation more quickly. I have grandchildren at Loma Vista and at Rosedale. Do I want their images being hijacked? Absolutely not. So I'm thinking that there isn't anyone here. Of course, we're hoping that um, there's not, I mean, we're hearing you say that there could be things that happen that we're not um, able to control. And we have, I think, taken to say that we're not going to use AI features is substantive.
Any other discussion?
Rebecca, I know you have children in the
Mhm.
in the district. What are things that crossed your mind as well?
I definitely, it was brought to my attention by the public in regards to Verkada, the history and reputation, and I um, I recognize that was information that we weren't aware of before making the full decision, and so I take some responsibility on behalf of the board. Um, that said, I feel comfortable moving forward, knowing that we have the opportunity as a board who listens to the public and has spent countless hours looking into the features that are available through the program. And the way I see it is we are replacing an older system with a more current system that's going to be more effective for our staff and hopefully provide a safer environment for our community. I think we could always go down the path of what if, and what if it gets into the hands of the wrong people. And I understand that, and I hear that concern. I also believe that we have the best interest of our community in mind as parents, as grandparents, and we wouldn't ask the community to trust a system that we ourselves didn't feel comfortable with. So to answer your question, as a parent, um, I feel comfortable moving forward with this choice, knowing that we have the full capability and to turn off any facial recognition, or rather, we have the capability to turn on facial recognition if we chose to do that. And I think we stand before you or sit before you in good faith, saying that that's not our intention. We don't plan to do that. We hear the community, and we want to do what the community has asked us to do.
Well, and in fact, this board voted unanimously to make sure that AI features were not used.
And I think we all spent considerable time digging deep into what that actually meant on our own. Any?
I would say more, but you guys have covered everything that I would say as well. And I just want to reiterate, we have put in countless hours on this, and we have a huge community to answer to. And so, sadly, we understand that we're not going to make everyone happy, but I feel that what we have done is made the best decision for our community, um, the safest decision for our community in this case, which I know not everybody agrees with that, but yeah.
I'll also say that at the forum, the public was invited to come and voice its opinion, and um, the opinions, what we're coming to tonight isn't just the board's opinion. These were thoughts that were voiced by the public at that meeting. And for example, when Vice President Olson motioned that the AWS be used for storage. That was based upon conversations there where it was outlined that if data was stored at Chico Unified, there would be perhaps 8 or 9 entry points for a hacker to get to stored information. And we don't have as, I'll just be clear, AWS has a more robust ability to defend against hackers than Chico Unified does. So the fact that, and this was what the public felt, that it was a safer choice than having it stored locally. So we did listen to the public. Also, I wanted to comment that it's been brought up that staff would be recorded, and to the extent that they're outside their classroom, I think that's true. And I'll say that having taught school as a high school teacher in Oroville, where also there were security cameras in place, there were times where it was imperative that we look at camera images to see what actually transpired, because when a fight breaks out or when there's a student being bullied, or there's an allegation of a student being bullied, it's important to be able to look at the evidence to say, does it look like what we're being told as a teacher or as an administrator is verified by the video? And there would be times when students, sometimes they're not really lying. They just, in the heat of the moment, they don't have a clear understanding of who was there, when it happened, and it's just, I'm just saying that as a public school teacher, having cameras on the campus is not uncommon, and I think has served a useful purpose.
Along those same lines, one of the factors that weighed heavily for me in it's in regards to being a good steward of our resources, financially, but also the resources of our teachers and administrators' time. Countless hours have been spent reviewing footage, and the advancements in technology have led to just a more efficient, speedy process. And so one of the advantages I see moving forward is just our ability to, and I know this comment has been made before, like, let's use our energy and our time and our resources in more efficient ways. And I think we can do so with current technology, and free up our administrators to be, with those students face to face rather than behind cameras and studying footage that is archaic.
Madam President, I call for the question.
Yes.
No, we're at the point where we've had a.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I mentioned to you that was your question. No. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so Ricotta is an AI surveillance. That's their whole thing. We've already banned AI paper. How can we still use this? We've already banned the use of software system is AI based. Say that, oh, we can enable certain things. Who's checking that? How do we know when it's turned off or turned on? And what access do you have locally to check that? This is what Ricotta has, those doors wherever they are. Those are the two issues, right, that have not been addressed by all this discussion and by the motion. And that's why, again, I don't think you can move forward, because you're contradicting yourself and you're really not listening to all.
I think we've moved on from public comment at this
Yeah.
time. I said that I would answer her question earlier, or to my best ability. Do you?
No, I think
I will
think-
review with the board with the.
Yeah, I think Member Robinson called for the question.
Are you want to read it back? Or you want that? So let's have, if we're ready, let's have Erica read it back.
Okay.
The motion.
Well, I don't think I want to restate it. The motion was to install Verkada cameras using AWS for installation or for storage, but only enabling vehicle history. Period. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think what
We have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
Is there any further discussion amongst us?
We're not silencing them. We had an opportunity and we're following the protocol,
We've had a meeting, what, in February?
This is the consent agenda. Come on, this is on you. You gotta give people a chance to speak. You haven't done this-
There have been an opportunity to speak, and even today, they were given an opportunity to speak to this item. In fact, the hands raised had an opportunity to speak.
So people have had the opportunity to speak, and now it's time for us.
Or you made a motion as well, so we didn't. Have a quick clarification. So was the focus group, when did the focus?
April 22nd.
April 22nd?
So I think based on public input that we've received in the past and tonight, based on that input, we've made a motion and we've seconded the motion already based on input.
let's do a roll call vote. Okay.
No question, the public, based on your motion.
No, we did listen to the public.
We didn't hear your motion. Didn't hear your motion.
We make our motion based on public comment that we've heard already. So we have. Member Hayes?
Hayes, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Olson, aye.
Robinson, I.
Okay, this passes 4-0. All right, we are going to be moving on to 8D4, which is information. And this is going to be a presentation from the North Coast State Carpenters Union.
Good evening, board. My name is Sean Reese, and this is Chris Martinez, and we are organizers for the North Coast States Carpenters Union. We have met with some of you here but for those that don't know about us, we wanted to give you a little bit of insight. Our office is based out of Reading, but we cover the 9 northern counties of the state, from Glenn County to the Siskiyous and from the Nevada border to the coastal counties. We represent all carpenters performing carpenter work.
Just before I get started, I'd like to say there was an article that came out earlier that suggests that all contractors working at Chico Unified School District are risky. I want to make it very clear. Our message tonight is about pathways to apprenticeship and exposing the practices of modern building and the likes of Bobo construction. That said, we are a member-driven organization representing more than 30,000 carpenters here in Northern California, more than 57,000 carpenters across the western 3 states. We have 5 training centers located here in Northern California, and we have an international training center located in Las Vegas, Nevada. We also work closely with a program called Helmets to Hard Hats, where we help veterans transition from a life in the military into a lifelong career in the trades, where they gain instant access to our membership, and they get to train as a carpenter and live a great life as a carpenter. I'm happy to mention that our Carpenters Union recently received an award for being the 2nd largest in retention and recruiting of these veterans across all trades nationwide. Our members come from all walks of life. We are your fathers, we are your mothers, your brothers, and your sisters. We all come together with one common goal: to build things with our hands and earn our way through our day. We have an apprenticeship, a pathway to the apprenticeship that helps these apprentices enter the middle class. Our apprenticeship alone has graduated 68% of our carpenters over the last 5 years alone. Apprenticeship is also an extended education. We also have a partnership with Chico State University, where our union sponsors roughly 4 to 5 Chico State students each year, where they become apprentices, they train, and they get the knowledge to become, and they gain college credit. So when they come out of that, they actually get hired back by our signatory contractors, but in project management roles and project engineering roles. All of our apprentices gain credit. This is an earn as you learn style of apprenticeship. So with that being said, that means our apprentices come on the job site and they make money while they're learning. And it's awesome. But part of our way that we ensure these apprentices have opportunities in the future is by being a watchdog organization, a resource for the community to help create opportunity for these apprentices.
We are policing the industry so that workers and taxpayers don't get taken advantage of. We work with district attorneys to criminally prosecute wage theft, and we have some examples. One of the examples is ProFrame. The charges against a Rockland-based contractor, ProFrame, where a company underpaid workers on a public affordable housing project in Sacramento, where at least 15 employees were affected, receiving only 50% of the wages they were due, meaning they were having them work 8 hours a day and only paying them for 4. There's also the situation of US Framing West, where a criminal complaint was filed by Attorney General Rob Bonta, who specified 31 felony counts, including allegations of wage theft, payroll tax evasion, and prevailing wage theft that resulted in losses to the state and 19 workers of over $2.6 million. On our Construction Wage Watch website, you can find a multitude of examples, workers speaking out, and case files, and find resources for workers who are being taken advantage of. This is just one of the many facets of how we protect the community against systematic wage theft and safety violations. As a public agency, Chico Unified School District is tasked with responsibly spending taxpayer money. As a watchdog organization, we have the resources to help bear the brunt of that responsibility, as well as protect and ensure jobs for students in the future. We have found that multiple general contractors pre-qualified to bid on Chico Unified School District projects have questionable business histories. They may not be deemed responsible. In multiple letters addressed to the staff, we have highlighted our findings when those general contractors were bidding on Chico Unified projects. One of those contractors is Modern Building.
The following video is of some workers that worked for Modern Building on a Chico Unified School District. That video? Well, we have videos on the Construction Wage Watch page where you can go on there and see, they tell their story on how they were.
I'd like to add, we actually had one of the workers that was going to be coming today to speak with us. Unfortunately, fear got to him. Intimidation got to him. but he was going to come and describe the injury that he suffered while working for Modern on a Chico Unified project. The worker expressed concerns and fear about coming forward. A cease and desist has been issued against Modern for intimidation tactics against their workers. And if you go to that constructionwagewatch.org website, there's a video where the worker himself explains exactly what happened to him and the entire situation.
So we want to come to you today to work together as a team. We want to see Chico Unified thrive. And we think raising pre-qualification standards is a great way to filter out these bad actors. However, we know you guys don't have the resources or the people to police these job sites. And, being properly informed by these contractors and making sure that everything they're giving you is vetted correctly. For instance, this past August, another pre-qualified contractor for Chico Unified School District, Bobo Construction, provided inaccurate information on a pre-qualification application in the city of Walnut Creek. Specifically to whether they were responsible for paying back wages and penalties. They said they were not. It was inaccurate and their staff was not aware, and we made them aware of that. In addition to making sure that public monies are spent responsibly, pre-qualification also helps keep the building safe for all students and staff.
So Modern Building was the original general contractor on the Marion Park project. This was an area, Chico, that was ripe with opportunity, but it started off on the wrong foot. And we no longer have a video for that. But last year, the Department of Industrial Relations released civil wage and penalty assessments, naming Modern Building as severely liable for instances of wage theft. It showed that from 2016 to 2024, nearly every year, Modern was named severely liable on civil wage and penalty assessments. This is a pattern of behavior. 3 of those CWPAs at Chico Unified School District, including twice in 2018 on the Marsh Junior High Science Building for failure to pay prevailing wages. After going through time cards of these workers, we dug and found Modern wasn't paying prevailing wage on all prevailing wage projects. Now, these are examples that are taking place in our own backyard. We cannot turn a blind eye, put our head in the sand, and pretend it doesn't exist. Wringing out every dollar from the students is noble, but the cost cutting comes off the backs of the workers building these projects, whose children attend these schools. Next, we would also like to point out that the Chico City Council has been a great community partner with us. And here are some of the members of the City Council to discuss their commitment to Chico Unified School District and what that would mean to our community. Addison and Bryce.
All right, thanks. Hi there, Bryce Goldstein, as mentioned, Chico City Council. I represent District 7. And I'm just here to show support for the good work that our Carpenters Union is doing to help both train and also support the working people who build our communities. I supported Measure C to help fund our schools, and I want to ensure that Chico Unified School District is hiring responsible contractors so that our tax dollars are used wisely and also equitably. I'm also concerned that the union has found risks in previous contractor selections and pre-qualified firms. So when we spend public dollars on contractors who have proven to exploit workers and commit wage theft, we are doing a disservice to our community. It erodes trust in the government. And of course, it is really bad for our workers and our working class people in this community. So I'm just asking that Chico Unified School District work with the Carpenters Union to identify problematic contractors and prevent risks before they start. Thank you.
Hi, Addison Winslow again. I want to thank you for having these guys come and present and listening to them. The carpenters do a lot of really great work in compliance, not just for union sites, but lifting up the bottom of the working class as a whole and making sure that people are held to equal standards. I supported Measure C. I would do it again. I think it's very important that we invest in our school facilities and make sure that the kids here have the best opportunities that we can provide for them. But in the allocations of those dollars, I think that it's important that you as publicly elected representatives think about the broader impact of the things, not just for the schools, not just in that on the side of the facilities and getting the cheapest thing, but making sure that it has the best external benefits. And the workforce development programs that these guys do, I think are very valuable to the community and including to the kids and their parents themselves. And I think that we can get the best out of the money that we have allocated by making sure that we do have responsible contractors and we are holding our holding this work and those who do it to the highest standard. I think these guys represent that here. I think that other contractors can too, but it's important that we pay close attention to what that is. So I hope you take that into consideration, and thanks for having us here.
Thank you to our partners on the Chico City Council for getting up there and speaking with us tonight. I really wish we had the videos. I think you guys would have really opened your eyes, and I hope you get on the Construction Wage Watch and check out the videos that are on there. I think our ask is simple. Use the information we have given you and make the best decision, not just for your own dollar, but for your community and your students as well. We want Chico Unified School students to become members. We want them to become apprentices and have a pathway to the middle class. It's what's best for us. It's what's best for all of us and the community. The men and women building our community shouldn't be the ones that are taken advantage of. A major part of that is working together to weed out these bad actors and secure responsible spending.
So we've given you a lot of information here about us, who we are, and what we do. We would love to continue this educational journey and invite your students to our training facilities, some of which some of you have already had the opportunity to see firsthand, so you know just how fantastic it is. We can get with the board and work on the details, but we want you to know we are partners in this community. And as such, it is our goal to lift everyone up around us, because rising tides raises all ships. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board?
Madam President, I don't have a question, but I do want to make a comment about the importance that Chico Unified has always placed on getting our students with, experience with the trades. Our CTE programs and the capstone classes that go with them. Our desire is to get our students familiar with how to get into things like your apprentice program. And I did attend one of your presentations. It's been a while, been a couple of years. It is in fact how the middle class develops. It's by having trained tradesmen. And I appreciate your support for that. I know that Ms. Kissel, Julie Kissel, our some kind of long name, that we have utilized things like, we're building and remodeling some schools, and we're giving some of our students an opportunity to observe what's going on. I know when McManus was under construction, we had some students out watching the big equipment. The students were absolutely mesmerized by the fact that there were even some women out there operating those big pieces of equipment, and that, yay team. So I do appreciate the fact that you showed up here tonight and that you support, the trades and getting our kids an opportunity to become involved with the trades through our CTE programs and other things that are available and so important. And thank you to the city council members. I've met Addison, but I hadn't met you. Thank you.
I wanted to say also, if Sean, if you step back up to the microphone, when I think of carpenters, I think of like swinging hammers, but actually carpentry, your union, it represents so much more than just, somebody with a hammer. And so could you could you talk about like, what are all the different jobs that a carpenter might do?
Absolutely. And actually, I actually have some reading material for you, and it actually explains all of our apprenticeable crafts. Like, as you said, being a carpenter isn't just a nail and a hammer. It's multiple apprenticeable crafts that we have now. Everything from concrete to metal stud framing to millwrights to pile driving floor laying. Being a carpenter is a broad spectrum
So
nowadays.
tell us, what is millwrighting? What does that
Millwright
mean?
would be, so you look at your factories, you look at maybe your cereal factories or maybe your sawmills and all of the machinery that goes along with that. Those are millwrights. That's actually technically a carpenter.
Interesting.
Conveyor belts, working in car factories, things like that.
Interesting. And then also I wanted to say, you mentioned that you partner with Chico State. I would really love to see it matriculated down to like Butte College, and certainly with our CTE program, um, as Member Robinson speaks about. And so I'd love to see what that could look like for our students in Chico Unified.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely, we would too.
Just a little bit. We want to see that too. We want to see all the high school students have this pathway, and we want to see that. And I think the best way we see that happening is by raising these standards and making sure we're giving them the opportunity in the future to be able to come back and work on your schools. Because we can pump out 1,000 apprentices, but if there's no job at the end.
One of our goals here was to talk about the pathways to the apprenticeship, but I don't think it's fair to talk about the pathways to the apprenticeship if we don't talk about how to protect those pathways as well. So.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we want to think about a whole student from before they reach our schools to after they leave our schools. So and again, that's why I think it's great to have that connection to Butte and then on into Chico.
Absolutely.
And beyond.
This isn't
Thank you.
technical information, but I've had, and some of you have too, the opportunity to go see the program in Fairfield, I believe. And it is fantastic what you can do for young and old alike to go into a field that is absolutely meaningful. I've appreciated spending time with you guys, learning, because when I met with you the first time, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And then I met with you again. I go, oh, I think I might be getting it. So I just appreciate the time and effort that you guys gave to me to understand truly what it is that you do. So thank you for that.
Yeah, the virtual, the little, I don't know what it was called, but the little room where you go in and it projects and at Fairfield is pretty incredible to think about.
And Gail, I think that's also a great example of how we want to be a resource, for the school district. We aren't educators. We aren't, in the school business. We are in the construction business. We understand that. So we would love to be a resource for you guys moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any public comment at this time? Okay. This was informational only, so no action is needed this evening regarding this item. We're moving along to board member request to agendize item. Yes, do you want to take it away, or do you want me to introduce you and what you're going to talk about?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. So in the recent past, we've had conversations regarding the use of Chromebooks for instruction in the classroom. We made some slight changes to board policy on that. However, given the research that is coming forward and continues to come forward, I feel that we need to continue to have discussions and look at if we need to make any additional changes to the use of Chromebooks for instruction. But that being said, not only for instruction, but there's also free time that happens. And I think what got to me the most was, I have a 2.5-year-old grandbaby, and I'll see what appears to be a 2.5-year-old kid in a shopping cart on a phone. And I think as that kid gets to school and they might be spending X amount of time on their Chromebook at school and X amount of time, doing videos and whatever at home, I think we just need to continue to have the discussion to make sure that we're doing the right thing for students.
So that's your motion.
I would like to make a motion to agendize, make sure I get this right, agendize the use of Chromebooks in the classroom for, well, I'm just going to say the use of Chromebooks in the classroom.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment?
First time here, fourth time speaking. I'm so excited. I can't wait. My Wednesday babysitter is going to get a raise because I'm going to be here more often. I can't be more in support of continuing to have this conversation about Chromebooks in the classroom. I think the data that keeps coming out is really devastating about what that does to the kids and what that does to our development for our kids in learning and creating a safe place to learn on the campuses that we provide as a district. A little hilarious that introducing new technology, now we're trying to pull it back because we're realizing how harmful it is to kids. Interesting that we're having that conversation in this meeting as well.
Hi, again, my name's Kelly. I just want to say that I appreciate that you are examining the updated data because it has bothered me as a parent to think that my kid's going to be on a screen as much as I've heard in some of the older grades. He's in kindergarten now, so really no screens, but I thank you very much for looking into that. And I do hope that there will be less time spent on the Chromebooks. Thank you.
Any other comment from the public? Let's see. So we had a motion and a second by me. And I think we have some opportunity to discuss this. And so doesn't come as a surprise that I'm in full favor or full approval of discussing this more. We've made some, what I consider to be substantial changes in regards to our board policy in regards to the use of technology, the use of constructive technology use. But I'm very
Ms.
much
Bond?
anticipated this.
I just want, oh, okay. Well, I just wanted the public to know that if you haven't looked at the revised board policy, one of the major policy decisions was that Chromebooks are not going to be sent home with elementary school students at all. So I didn't know if you saw that policy update, but I think it's an important one.
All right. So if there's no further board discussion, did you want to make a comment?
Question.
Question.
Process. I know we have a process for agreeing to put something on a future agenda, but now I'm confused about the sequence of that action. Do we decide tonight? Yes.
I think what we're deciding tonight is just if we are in favor of putting it on a future agenda.
Got it.
I'm not making changes with any policy or anything.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I think it would be, I mean, if you decide to do this, then I would be working with the president and then also the motion maker, and we'd figure out what's an appropriate meeting to have this on a future agenda.
Thank you. Are you comfortable with that? Okay. Let's go ahead and vote all together. All those in favor of adding this to our future agenda to be determined regarding the date. But we're just basically saying that we'd like to see this on our future agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this passes 4-0. Okay, moving along to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Member Hayes and a second by Vice President Olson. Let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, this passes. Meeting adjourned.